Hi guys, and welcome to the 6th episode of Xbox World TV. I'm your newly digitised host Matthew Pellett, and today we'll be sneaking a peek at Spec Ops: The Line, and in the spirit of Skyrim we'll go back to one of Bethesda's greats. But first of all, we're going to be taking a look at Rainbow Six Patriots, Ubisoft Montreal's newly announced shooter, and Mike and Andy are going to talk you through it.
Okay, this is Mike, and I'm here with Andy. The following is not actual gameplay footage, that's very important. It's going to be showing you a lot of PS3 buttons when you're watching this, like, you know, buttons you have to hold, buttons you have to press, but that's because this is the only footage of the game that exists, and guess what? It's not even the actual game. Just swap those buttons in your mind for the buttons you'd find on an Xbox pad, and I'm sure it'll all make sense.
So this is what they call target footage. It's what the game might look a bit like.
Yeah, this is what they're aiming for. When they finish the game, this is what they're hoping it will look like. God, this guy's wife he's done all right for himself, right? But guess what? He's done all right for himself, and that's going to come back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah.
His hot wife, his great baby, his massive house, and his tiny cake, and the little kiss he's about to get.
Yeah.
All of that he's going to pay for in the next 6 minutes. It's not going to be a good day for this guy.
It's a comment on capitalism.
Absolutely. It turns out he's like a banker or like an estate agent or something like that. So basically a guy who's profited off of the... What
you're saying is he had it coming.
Well, I'm not saying he had it coming. I'm just saying these people who are about to bust through the door. Oh no!
Wow.
Those guys, they think he's got it coming. These guys are the Patriots or the True Patriots or something along the lines.
Oh, so that's interesting. It's a homegrown terrorist group. It's not foreigners.
No, it's not. It's not foreigners. It's not Mexicans like it was in the last Rainbow Six.
So it's guys angry at America. They feel shunned by.
They feel shunned. They've lost their jobs. They've lost their homes. Many of them have lost their wives.
They're going for the whole cultural relevance thing because that's the world today, isn't it? The
from the headlines,
process,
yes. And just what they're saying is right now is they're saying, you know, you're gonna do this job for us. We're gonna kill your wife and your baby, and you know this is what do you do in a situation? And the game will put you in a situation. That's the plan. They put you in a situation, make you decide what you'll do.
If the animation's anything like this, when the actual game, you know, it's going to be very impressive.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think they're aiming a little high during some of these sequences. The animations are all too good, too bespoke.
Yeah.
But later on, when you see the combat animations and so on, that looks very gamey, and you know it looks very. It doesn't look beyond like what you could do. To be honest, it doesn't look like it'd be like anything beyond what those guys are going to be able to produce a year and a half from now. Because we're looking at a game which is coming out in 2013.
Yeah,
this game's a long way off, man, and they got a great team working on it over at Ubisoft Montreal.
Is he you actually physically holding the detonator?
You have to be constantly holding the dead man switch. If you let it go, you will
That's
blow
kind
up.
of cool. It's a nice little use of the quick time event, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so too. And these moments will appear all the way through. Of course, as a friend of ours, Tom Francis, commented, PC Gamer's Tom Francis said, you know, interaction is meaningless unless there's some consequence to it.
Yeah.
So just so you know, if the difference between not holding the button and holding the button is win or lose, there's no real interesting consequence there. But in theory, in the final game, there will be important choices you'll make. There'll be moments where someone's defusing a bomb and you make the choice there and then whether to run away or whether to give him the time to defuse the bomb. Or, you know, there's going to be moments like that where you're going to be forced into tough decisions, and that's the game's clever gimmick. But otherwise, it's fairly similar to, certainly mechanically, to the last Rainbow Six
So it
Vegas.
still has the same squad-based anti-terror.
There's your
type,
squad on the right, just over there. Those guys marked with the circles. There's your squad on the right. This is you're watching over the thing. You know, you're picking your targets, sniping these guys down.
Jumps between characters 24 style then. You'll see different
It seems so,
events
yes.
from,
It seems that's what they're going for. But I mean, again, this game's a long way off. And remember, all the things they had planned for Ghost Recon before, the new Ghost Recon before they started showing it again recently, was very different to what we ended up seeing in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, all of this is very Rainbow Six. The old zip line down the building.
Yeah. The skyline's beautiful, isn't it?
It's great, yeah. Again, but again, how much can we read from it? It's target footage. Although it doesn't look overly ambitious to me. It doesn't look unreasonable at all.
Yeah. It does. This slightly too fluid. It looks hand animated, whereas the real game will be a bit more.
Yeah,
a bit more gamey. But if they can pull off this amount of detail, and do you know if it's a new engine or existing tech?
They won't be using Unreal 3 again. We know that Ubisoft didn't really enjoy using Unreal 3 for Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2. Rainbow Six Vegas 2 was kind of built from bits of Rainbow Six Vegas 1, so they stuck with the same engine there. But for this new game, they're going to go with a completely different engine.
Yeah.
If you look, they've gone with the similar things, like always Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six sharing the same sorts of ideas.
Yeah.
This is that kind of augmented reality thing that the guys in Rainbow Six do, Ghost Recon do. So he doesn't actually look through it, but it's because his guys up on the ridge can see what's ahead. Check this chick out. Oh, dead.
Oh, God.
Because the guys up on the ridge can see what you can't, they're sending their feed to you, and it's giving you a 3D model of where all these guys are.
Yeah.
It's some geeky future tech for you right there. I tell you what, that crosshair's not final, is it?
No.
So here's the guy. He's been abducted from his home. He's got a bomb strapped to him, and now you're gonna rescue him. He's got the bomb. He's got the kill radius. You're on this bridge. There's hundreds of people nearby, and this is where you make the choice. You know, the bomb's got. Oh, how long's it got? It's going to explode. Well, you're going to find out in a second. There it is. 27 seconds. Oh dear. It's a fast 27 seconds too.
So you either get rid of him or everyone on the bridge dies.
Or you wait to see if what happens. In this case, that guy's not going to have a good day. Bye-bye, man.
Oh no.
So yeah, they're going for something a bit kind of gritty, something ripped from the headlines, and otherwise classic Rainbow Six.
At a recent EA event, Xbox World TV cornered FIFA Street's Sid Mishra, who told us all about their footballing spin-off's big reboot.
My name is Sid Mishra and I'm the line producer on FIFA Street. FIFA Street is, at its heart, kind of built off of the award-winning FIFA gameplay engine. So, you know, in the previous FIFA Street franchises, they weren't using the FIFA team, they weren't using the FIFA engine. That's why we consider this sort of a reboot of the franchise, a chance for us to really deliver the first truly quality street football experience. So what we've done is make a more authentic street football game with proper physics that are true to this football sport in general and truer to street football than we've seen in the past. It's all about trying to create a game that, you know, people mimics the way people play around the world. We didn't want to tie people down to maybe one style of play because street football means many things to many different people. So what we wanted to make sure is that we could emulate these styles of game within FIFA Street because there's different people who are going to expect a different experience, and that is a bit of a challenge, but something we feel like we've been able to do by offering very cool skill moves and stylish skill moves that would be prevalent in somewhere like Rio. The FIFA Impact engine allows us to create that sort of physicality that you might see in London, and then having easy controls to allow you to kind of pan a guy like you would in Amsterdam. For us, the skill moves is obviously a huge deal for FIFA Street. The idea in FIFA Street is not just being able to pull off a move, but the moves are almost independent tools that you can use to create an even bigger, more sensational skill move, if you will. So being able to chain together in a combo type way 2 or 3 different moves to really kind of show up your opponent or just to look cool. So compared to FIFA, we have like 50 new skill moves that we're putting into the game, and what we consider our sort of street ball control is almost a skill move in itself. It's an accessible one. You hold the left trigger, you move the analog stick, and suddenly you're holding the position of your player but moving the ball around. What this does is allow you to kind of bait the defender by holding the ball forward. Defender comes in. If he mistimes his tackle as you pull the ball back, for example, now you have an option do you want to play it through his legs as he stumbles, or do you want to spin around him to get away from him, or even flick it up and put it over his head? You know, many options coming out of a simple kind of but cool looking skill.
This month's Primer section is all about blocks, lines and inclines. It's our best 5 videos of the month. Our first Primer video is a continuation of last month's Bioshock Dev Diary, and a behind-the-scenes look at the people behind the characters.
With the actors, in the sense that I ideally would like to hire actors and bring them in and say, like, okay, I totally got this figured out, guys. This is just what here's your piece of paper, go do X, Y, and Z. And that's just not the case in this game, because we're doing something that we haven't really done before. So when we start sessions with them, I basically have a bunch of writing I've done and a bunch of sort of scenes we want to do, and sometimes those scenes end up, they're very prototypical of what we're actually going to end up with. And I basically try to be very honest with them and say, look, I don't really exactly know how we're going to get there. And we just sort of sit around and talk about it, and we record a lot of stuff. We keep the recordings going, we keep the camera going. The camera's on Courtney's face, so we can get emotional reference from her face as well as her voice.
Elizabeth.
Promise me.
I will stop him.
No.
That is an oath you cannot keep. But promise me that if it comes to it, you will not let him take me back.
It won't come to that. All right?
The benefits of working with a voice actor directly is, that sort of interactive process. There's a sequence where Troy's berating Courtney to get a certain performance of a moment we needed. And that wasn't just Troy being an asshole. That was, me asking Troy to help get Courtney to an emotional place.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Do you need something to build to it?
I'm thinking. I'm not just ignoring.
Help if he berated you a bit?
A what?
If he berated you a bit? Berated you?
Yeah, sure.
What, what were you doing? What were you thinking? This is never gonna work.
Moron.
You're gonna get us fucking killed.
I like that.
Keep going.
Yeah, Troy, don't be afraid of it.
No, I'm not.
Really
I'm
go
not.
into her.
Yeah.
No, I just don't want you to stop
Fucking child.
Shut up!
It's a Glengarry Glen Ross beating up.
Makes me so uncomfortable. Keep going.
I don't care if you're uncomfortable or not. Pull it the fuck together! You've either got this or you don't. The fuck were you thinking?
Keep at her, Troy. Keep at her.
No, she's got it. She just needs to fucking focus. Don't fucking laugh!
Okay, you were right. I can't control it. It's not possible.
With what I've seen lately, I wouldn't put a nickel on what's possible. Now, come on. I think it's time we found Comstock, okay?
Can we do it once more?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Will you yell, you fucking psychopath? Will you scream at me a little more? And then be nice?
To say, what's it like working with Kim Levine? And I always answer with, I don't know. I'll let you know. Because so far we're not working, we're playing. We're having fun. We're in a sandbox, It's not work. It can be exhausting, but so can, riding roller coasters all day.
I kind of... Can we just try it? I know you don't want to.
Ben, I want to see what you do with it.
Oh, great. No pressure.
Nope.
I think that, we sort of have a couple of rounds a few rounds of experiments, and now we're starting to understand our process a lot better, and that will help move the process along more quickly, and then we'll find, new challenges we'll take on, and we'll get stuck again, and we'll just have to figure those out.
In at 4, we've got the Xbox 360 port of PC sensation Minecraft.
It's here! Holy gosh! Wow! Who's that? Keyboard flip! Get out of my way! Oh, give it to me! Oh, I'm running really fast now. Oh, come on! Gnarly! Oh, give me the controller! I want the controller! What? Oh, cool! Oh, wow! Oh, dude! Well done. Oh no! Yep, that's my game.
We're jetting all over the world for number 3 with EA's upcoming SSX.
The SSX Massive World Video Series.
Africa is the environment that we probably take the most creative liberties with. We looked at Kilimanjaro, a big frozen volcano with one of the most iconic craters in the world, the Kibu crater right at the summit, and we decided in true SSX style, we should just go ahead and create all of our courses inside that frozen volcano.
It's multiple paths down there. It's really dark. You're going to need your headlamp, and you're going to have to watch where you're going because there's lava bubbling out through the crevasses everywhere.
So Africa is home to one of the most frightening deadly descents in the game, darkness. Here we're gonna drop you literally into a completely black cavern where you're gonna try to navigate your way down to the bottom, armed with nothing more than a headlamp attached to your head to help light the way. It is truly a harrowing gameplay experience. We think players are gonna love it. So next, let's move on to the Rockies. So the Rockies are definitely one of the most lush environments on our game. The maps are littered with giant Douglas firs, and there are trees scattered across all the courses in this region.
It's got a train wreck section where you're actually going to be able to grind up onto the rail cars. It's also got a lot of power lines in it. If you can find the line, you can actually use the power cables as a rail.
So the deadly descent here, no surprise, is called trees. So what we decided to do is take, a typical SSX course, and then we absolutely jammed it full of trees all in the main riding path. Added another wrinkle to that, we decreased the visibility significantly. It's really fun, it's really fast. Good luck with that one. So finally, let's talk about the Alps. So the Alps are all about high altitude engineering, one of the most unique places in the world where there's literally rail systems carved out in the inside of the mountains, bridges spanning from peak to peak. It seems like in the Alps, they'll just run a chairlift to anywhere.
So in the village section, there's going to be half-buried houses, fallen trees, fallen gondola lines, all of which you can jump or grind off of.
So we can't talk about the Alps without talking about rock. So the Alps is home to the deadly descent of rock. You're gonna need some of the best and most advanced equipment that SSX offers in this game in order to get down that one. So that concludes the SSX Massive World video series. We've taken you around the globe from the Himalayas to the Alps to Siberia and back. Thanks a lot for coming along for the ride. We'll see you on the mountain.
Max Payne 3 is coming in March, and Rockstar's on-hand voiceover man is going to tell you how it's made.
Payne 3 was to use technical design innovations to create an immersive and story-driven action shooter, in which there is an intensely cinematic quality to gameplay, as well as cutscenes.
They ain't gonna make this easy for us, are they?
Over this video series, we will look in detail into aspects of this approach to game design, including targeting and shooting, movement and animation, bullet time, and artificial intelligence. To create as accurate, responsive, and realistic third-person shooter as possible, Max Payne 3's targeting and shooting mechanics have been finely tuned. The game combines the precision of a first-person shooter with the connection to the character you get from third-person games. This core gunplay is based around tight control of the reticle, maintaining full responsiveness without sacrificing realistic character movement. The animations powering Max Payne all work together, so Max can twist and turn fluidly and realistically, ensuring the target is always in Max's sights. This allows for 360-degree shooting, even from a prone position. Max Payne 3's cinematic presentation uses extremely detailed animation systems. Max's fluid and realistic movement is the result of thousands of separate animations that dynamically combine, along with procedurally generated physics animations, to create a character that is completely grounded in the physics of the world around him. Bullet time has always been the core strategic and aesthetic gameplay element for the Max Payne series. Gunplay has to be both hectic enough for the use of bullet time to make sense, and beautiful at any speed. The game is engineered around the many ways in which bullet time is utilized. Every single bullet is physically modeled in real time. Final kill cams use bullet time and dramatic camera angles to show off final deaths. Each one is unique, responding to your choice of weapon, the point of impact, and a real-time natural motion euphoria animation reaction. The technology behind enemy intelligence varies depending on if they are untrained street thugs, favela gang members, or elite special forces. There are several thousand unique AI combat animations covering a range of movements, from finding cover to reaction to injuries, all to ensure that no gunfight feels the same. Enemies respond uniquely to weapon hits depending on each weapon's force. angle of hit, animation pose, and environment around them. Max Payne 3 brings all these advances together to create stylish and precise gunplay in an incredibly detailed and beautiful environment. Combined with Max's noirish narrative, it creates an intensely cinematic, non-stop action experience.
And number 1 this month is a rather spectacular video of Spec Ops: The Line. It might look like a poor man's Gears of War, but we reckon this could honestly give Epic a run for its money. It's never easy to churn out 3 games in 3 years, and especially not when said games are as big as Assassin's Creed. Mike and Andy are going to come back to the studio to tell you how Ubisoft Montreal did.
So this is Assassin's Creed Revelations. I'm here with Andy Kelly, who reviewed it for Xbox World. Hello.
Hello.
Tell us something about it, Andy.
Assassin's Creed Revelations. For my money, it's the best one since Assassin's Creed 2. I thought Brotherhood was a bit of a disappointing, stopgap. And this, for me, is as good as Assassin's Creed 2. Very good game.
Does it have any of Brotherhood's goofier ideas? So Brotherhood introduced a lot of ideas that weren't necessarily good ideas, like riding horses through cities.
Yeah.
And is this doing that sort of thing?
Well, horse
I haven't played this yet. You have, and I'm waiting until Christmas Day to play it, which of course our readers will be in the past probably by the time they watch this.
Horse riding is out. A lot of the assassin management stuff from Brotherhood is back. They've recycled everything.
So you still get to recruit all your guys, to build a little army of dudes, send them around
across the world. Yeah, all that's back.
What's this bullshit?
Yeah, well, there's some that is the word for it. This is one of the new additions, which is kind of like, you can see they're trying to be Portal. They've got these big sort of test chambers in inverted commas. These are called journeys, as you journey through Desmond's mind, recovering his past by building bridges out of 3D shapes.
Desmond's mind is really boring.
The gameplay wise, this is like Portal with none of the ingenuity. It's really stupid puzzles.
You're just building paths for yourself, right?
Yeah, and by the last one, there's 5 of them. The last one shows what the rest of them should have been like. It's really challenging. It's
but
really
the important
interesting.
thing is, you have to play these.
These are optional. The stuff it reveals about Desmond, if you like a bit of Assassin's Creed mythology, it's quite interesting. It gives his previously completely hollow character a little bit of colour, but you don't have to do these, and if you don't care about the story, don't do them.
So you can just stick to stabbing people in the neck if you want. That's all right. We like that.
Yeah, these are unlocked by collecting stuff in the main game. So, but then also the big new thing is that you get to play as Altair, a friend from the very first game.
Yeah. And you do sort of play it in flashbacks, right? You get to go back to the actual world of, of Acre and all these...
Well, they all take place in Masyaf, which is the assassin's sort of HQ.
Yeah.
Former HQ. And these are all they're all maybe like 40-minute long little chunks of mission, and every one is different. That's what's really interesting about this game. It has variety in its additional content. The main game is Assassin's Creed. You played it a million times, running over rooftops, stabbing men, watching historical figures have serious chats in colourful gowns. So all that stuff is like very familiar. But then on the side you've got the Desmond stuff, which is rubbish but varied. You've got every Altia one throws in a little bit into the mix. Like Altia's really old in one of them, and like you play as him as a creaky old man, and it keeps throwing up new types of gameplay at you.
Does he handle differently when he's a creaky old man?
Yeah. He does, like when you try to climb something, he holds his back and goes, "Oh, I can't do it." But he's still like he's using his last remaining strength to like get revenge on all the people that ever betrayed him. So it's it's really, those bits are great. You do go back to Masyaf as Ezio as well, which is pretty cool. But then, as well as Constantinople, which is the main setting, the main city, there is also another city introduced like 10 hours into the game, it's not as detailed, but it's still pretty big.
Well, all that bomb crafting nonsense that Ubisoft were playing out before is...
the bomb crafting stuff it basically turns the game into Batman Arkham City, where the stealth sections you're using essentially gadgets, which these bombs, make no sense that they could exist in this time period, but, they're like distractions, there's offensive ones, there's tactical ones, defensive ones. It gives you like a toolkit of gadgets. Again, you don't have to use them. By the end of the game, I got bored of it and just stabbed everyone.
Yeah.
So it gives you a lot of stuff.
It's one of those games where they just keep giving you new tools and toys to play with.
Yeah.
But it's all just there if you want it.
Yeah, and some of it's not even that good. Like very little of the side content is really engaging. That's another problem it has. It's got so much to offer, but none of it you feel compelled to get really involved in.
Yeah, a few years ago they actually put the Altair costume into Metal Gear Solid 4 on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And I think in a way these guys actually are kind of influenced by the stuff that Kojima's team do.
Yeah.
It's funny, I think there's a close link between those studios.
Definitely.
Just a sort of friendship and a mutual respect.
Yeah.
And they do that Kojima thing, which is to give you tons and tons and tons of tricks, things you can do, loads of weapons, more weapons than any game ever needs.
Yeah.
And then just say, okay, now you can play it however you want. Maybe you sneak, maybe you go just running around with gunning everybody down.
That's a good comparison, because like in Metal Gear, where you're given a whole arsenal of like real-world customizable weapons, no one plays it offensively, so you hardly use them. It's the same in this. You get given so much stuff that you'd only use it if you are actively trying to get the most out of the game,
And it's a handsome game, right? I mean, look at this.
Yeah, the city is really beautiful. The Middle Eastern setting is a lot more colourful. You've got this hook blade thing, which is using here, which lets you double jump, essentially.
Does he not just use that as an excuse just to make every jump a little bit longer?
Yeah.
It's exactly the same, but you have to press an extra button.
It's quite a satisfying control to it, and it makes a satisfying noise when you clunk into the concrete. Yeah, it's quite gimmicky. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the best Assassin's Creeds, but it does retread a lot of ground that's been covered already quite extensively.
It was always gonna, right? I mean, Ubisoft are just treading water until Assassin's Creed 3 now. I mean, they really are. It took 6 studios to bring this to market.
Yeah, it's crazy. At the start, about 6 studio names roll by, and the end credits seem to last like an hour.
Is this one of the tallest structures in the game? Or the tallest structure?
This is one of the tallest points in Constantinople.
So this is you showing off then, right?
Yeah.
This is you just climbing to the top.
Well, the video's going to end on a beautiful panoramic view of the city, to give you an idea. I mean, it does, like, you can see it has a different feel to Italy.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, it feels more exotic.
This engine's still just badass as well. And the climbing still looks great. And
solid frame rate, it's just...
Yeah, everything about it is just fantastic.
And the cutscenes are great as well. They've got a new face animation and stuff, they've done a lot to it.
Yeah.
But also, a lot is very similar.
Yeah, well, that's Assassin's Creed, at least until the third one, which will probably be, kind of similar, I would have thought.
Yeah.
But maybe in a new setting with a new character, hopefully.
Yeah, kick some life into it.
Yeah, about time.
We had to wrench ourselves off of Skyrim to come record Xbox World TV this month, but we're going to stick with Bethesda for our time extend. We're going down to Vault 112 and Tranquility Lane.
So during the main story arc of Fallout 3, you're told that your dad has been spotted in Vault 112. So you head over there, and when you get there, you find that there's no vault there, just a garage, Smith Casey's garage. So you think, well, something's not quite right here, but so you go into the garage and you have a little poke around, and eventually you find the entrance to Vault 112. So you climb down, and this is where the mission begins.
Okay, so one of the most exciting moments in Fallout is when you find a vault, which are hidden around the Capital Wasteland, and they've always got something interesting in them. And when you reach the doorway opening sequence is very elaborate, and it takes forever to sort of roll back, increasing your excitement about what could lie within. But when you get inside Vault 112, there's nothing there initially, so you're a little bit confused and disappointed, wondering what the hell this thing is for and what you're going to find inside.
So you head down into the vault, and everything's sort of quiet, but that's nothing unusual because in all the other vaults it's been quite quiet. And then you find a robot, and this robot tells you that you're 202.3 years too late. So and you need to put on your suit and go down to into your tranquility lounger. And this is the first time you get the feeling that something is not quite right in Vault 112. So obviously, you're looking for your dad. You've got to do what he says. So you get your suit on and you head down to the tranquility lounge.
Is available. So the robot you meet gives you your vault suit, which is the required wearing for any vault dweller. Has 112 on the back, and you start exploring the vault. And unlike a lot of the other ones, which are ruined and inactive, this one appears to still have power and still be working. And in the middle of a great big room, you see some mysterious pods.
You find yourself in this lounge, you do a quick lap of the area, survey the scene, and it becomes apparent really quickly that this is the vault. The vault is this simulation, and everyone in the vault is trapped in the simulation, and they have been for a real long time. This is, it's like a classic Bethesda moment. This is where they pull you out of one reality and stick you in another. You realize that to get out of this, you're gonna have to play along. You're gonna have to work with the simulation, not against it, and then maybe trick your way out.
So you get inside one of these mysterious pods, and the lid slides shut, a screen appears and pushes towards you, and suddenly you find yourself in a black and white vision of 50s America before the bombs dropped. There's chirpy, quite annoying music playing, and it has the sort of weirdly sinister air about it, and you're wondering why you suddenly appeared in a world before the nuclear devastation happened.
Hey there, sport. Beautiful day, isn't it? Say, you should go talk to Betty. She's waiting for you over on the playground. Have fun.
So you're in this Tranquility Lane place. It's obviously a bit odd. And when you get there, a man tells you that to go and see a girl called Betty. You find Betty in the school playground, and when you meet her, obviously, with this mission, there's not a lot is as it seems, and you can tell that Betty knows more than she's letting on. So you talk to her, and she offers to trade information if you play along with one of her little games. So the first thing she asks you to do is to make little Timmy cry. Not entirely sure what she's got against little Timmy, but there you go. And this is the first of a number of tasks that she'll ask you to do in exchange for information on how you can, perhaps escape Tranquility Lane or find out its deeper secrets.
So the first of your bastard quests sends you to make this little boy cry, and there's a couple of ways to do it. If your speechcraft's high enough, then you can convince him that his parents are going to get divorced. That's a pretty mean thing to do, but we weren't able to do it anyway. Our speech wasn't high enough. It wasn't a good day for us. Fortunately, the backup plan is that you can just punch him in the face. So if you slap the kid around a little bit, he'll run off crying. Mission accomplished, and you're one step towards going to hell.
With the situation, but it was definitely effective. Consider the game won. And with that, you win a prize.
So Betty's pleased that you made the little boy cry, and she reveals to you that she is not in fact a little girl. She is in fact an old man called Braun, a scientist who seems to be involved in this alternate reality you're in. As you speak to Betty, her voice switches between the voice of a squeaky little girl and that of a creepy old man, which is quite confusing. But if you listen carefully to the whistling you hear from Braun, then that'll come in handy later as you try to escape this horrible place.
Helping you.
I am answering questions. More than the one original question I granted you, I might add. And now I think it is time you do something for me. Pay a visit to the Rockwells. They're very happily married, and I'd like you to change that.
So you go back to Betty and you find out her second task. And her second task is a bit more sinister than the first one. And you really sort of getting it makes you feel a little bit uneasy. She asks you to go and end the marriage between the Rockwells. So you go into their house, and the mission all sort of kicks off when you read Janet Rockwell's diary. And in her diary it says that she suspects her husband of being unfaithful, just suspects it. So there are a number of ways you can approach this. The most obvious and perhaps the most boring one is for you to go and just use your speech skill to convince her that yes, her husband is having an affair, and just sort of feed her paranoia. But you don't really want to do that. What you want to do is something a little bit more unusual. So there are a number of options, as you'll find out, as to how you can play this mission a little bit more off the beaten path.
You don't belong here. You're not supposed to be here. It's not real, none of it. It needs to end. The suffering must end. We're not really here.
So if you really have an explorer in Tranquility Lane, you'll find an old dear called Old Lady Dithers. Now, she'll put you onto a new track, the idea that maybe you don't have to be a complete bastard to get out of this simulation. Maybe you don't have to play along at all. Maybe you can just go to this abandoned house nearby and escape through there. She says there's a way out, and doesn't really put you onto it in any more way than that. It's up to you to find this way out, and I think a lot of people at this point would probably take that option. You know, you're going to swing your moral compass heavily one way if you just do what Betty tells you. But we're having fun following the rules, so let's stick with that now and see what happens.
The only terminal to the outside. The only way to shut the whole thing down. You've got to find it.
So one of the ways to break up the marriage is you can go to the house of Martha Simpson, which is the woman Janet Rockwell suspects is having an affair with her husband. And there are a few things you can do while you're in here. One thing you can do, which is, you can take a pair of lacy underwear from her house and plant it in the Rockwell house, thereby giving Janet the ammunition she needs to suspect her husband of cheating. But there is a more sinister option. What you can do is take the rolling pin from the Rockwell house and use it to beat Martha Simpson to death with, thereby essentially framing Janet Rockwell, and her husband will then divorce her because, well, he thinks she's a psychopath.
Hello!
Well, hi there. What were you doing in our basement? What's down there?
You go and rob yourself a pair of pants from the trollop down the street, come back, stick it in on the guy's desk in the basement, and then go find Janet. You fetch her, bring her down, say, hey, there's I've got a little treat for you down in the basement, something for you to see. She comes on down, her suspicions are confirmed, there's a pair of used pants on the man's desk. What a monster. So she says, wow, I never knew this, and you can really rub it in, you can lay it in thick and say, oh, you know, maybe these must be your pants, right? She's like, not mine. You go, oh, someone's been up to no good, and that will break them up. Job 2, done.
You have turned out to be quite resourceful, it seems. I am slightly impressed. I enjoy your company far more than your father's. He responded quite negatively to my requests. You have amused me thus far, but I still don't think you're quite in a position to be...
Okay, so Betty is pleased that you are so willing to do these tasks for her, even though they're morally dubious. But she comments that your father, referring to the Vault Dweller's dad, voiced by Liam Neeson, of course, wasn't so willing to go to play along with his games. And then you get another task from Betty, and this is probably one of the worst yet. Your task is to kill an old woman called Mabel, who lives on Tranquility Lane, and you've got to do it as creatively as possible without being caught.
To my ears.
So you got 3 options. You can't just stick a knife in the old dear's back, so let's be more creative. You can rig her oven to blow. Oh, that'll pretty much do the job. You can program her house robot to chop her up. Again, job well done. But what we've done is go for the creative sort of big squashing option, which is to head upstairs, rig the chandelier to fall. She'll step under it. It'll drop on her head. Again, job's done. Very clean, very nice, and you've not left your fingerprints anywhere over it. Exactly as ordered.
Mabel, I meant to ask you, have you seen the new Robco catalog? I thought you might be interested, since you don't seem to like your Mr.
So in order to kill Mabel, we have to get her back to her house, where we have cleverly rigged a chandelier to drop on her head. And to get her back, we ask her, because we're a kid and she wants to be nice to us, to bake us a pie, which involves her walking back to her house with you. When she gets back there, there is no pie to be made because the chandelier crushes her skull.
Hello.
So if you go for the bad karma option and do become the point-sized slasher and murder everyone in Tranquility Lane, you go back to Betty, and she's very pleased with what you've done, obviously. You know, you've played her game her way, and she creates a little door for you, and she lets you leave Tranquility Lane, which is, you know, that's one way of doing it, but your karma has taken a serious hit.
You asked for the means to leave Tranquility Lane, and so I grant it to you. The door is open.
You are, of course, welcome to stay a bit longer if you like.
But there is a good way to finish this quest without killing everyone and getting good karma in the process, which is to find the abandoned house, which is on the street, and inside you'll find this collection of objects that make a certain tone when you touch them. Now, if you remember the whistling from earlier, you'll remember the tune that you have to play on these objects. Doing so reveals a computer that appears out of nowhere, and you can initiate the fail-safe end to the program that you're trapped in.
So somehow in Bethesda's twisted mind, the moral option is to trigger a Chinese invasion and send the entire Chinese army marching into Tranquility, gunning everybody down. And people don't die well in Fallout. When they die in lots of small pieces. But, you know, it sets them free from the simulation. It's going against Betty's orders, so the game kind of says, you know, that's almost moral, I guess, and gives you a pat on the head for it.
Do you realize what you've done? You've triggered the failsafe, ruined everything. The subjects will die, and I'll be stuck here in this hell alone.
You ruined everything! Everything!
It is not over.
So if you decide to play it the good karma way and oddly kill everyone using the Chinese army, then you go back to Betty, and she's obviously a little bit miffed that you've done it a different way, and but she reveals that she has no more power over you, and she also tells you something that you probably figured out anyway, that your dad is the dog, and he's been watching over you and silently judging you in the way that dogs do throughout the course of the mission, and from that point on, obviously you're free to leave the level. And you know, obviously, if you played it this way, then you haven't taken that enormous hit to your karma, which is a good thing if you're playing it that way.
Run along now.
Son, you've saved me. I was afraid I'd be trapped in there forever. It's so good to see you, but what are you doing here?
So you emerge from the pod, freed from the nightmare of Tranquility Lane after initiating the failsafe, and you meet up with your father, Liam Neeson, again. For the first time since the opening of the game. You've been hunting him down for hours, and finally you meet him, and that forwards on the next part of the main quest, and you're onwards to save the world.
Regular viewers should know that the end of Time Extend means it's the end of another episode of Xbox World TV. But as ever, we're on a double-sided disc and we've got a B-side with hours of content yet to be enjoyed. Pop your B-side into your 360 or your PC and you'll find podcasts, PC wallpapers, and of course, a load of HD movies. Playing your disc's B-side on your Xbox 360 is dead easy. You need to put the disc in with the label side down, obviously close the tray, it'll come up as a mixed media disc and won't let you select anything. But scroll across to the video library, select current disc and then the video folder, and you'll have all of the trailers on your DVD to watch in high definition. You may need to download a small update, it's about 3 megs to make the AVIs work, but it's free and that shouldn't be a problem if you're on Xbox Live. Alternatively, if you want to listen to our podcast, go through the same motions but only on the music library. Then select the podcast folder and whichever one you want. So here we've got the Insider Cast. It's exclusive to your DVD, so make sure you don't miss it because that is not available on iTunes. Finally, of course, there are the official wallpapers as well. Now these are designed primarily for your PC or Mac, and like the rest of the content on Side B, can be accessed on PC or Mac, but you can also see it on 360. Go to the picture library, go into the current disc, and view images. You can watch them as a slideshow. So from all of us here at Xbox World TV, happy gaming. EA have been holding a oh no, there you go, there's the mistake. EA have been holding.
Creepy old man, little girl voice.
So why not, oh that is awful. Bit of Xbox World TV, but we are, shit.
Off the, oh.
Oh, you're right there.
You soon, no, what?
Because the show's over doesn't mean the fun's over. Because that was crap.
Save the world.
So from all of it, arse, bam, straight away, done, I'm out of it.